Good afternoon, folks. Sorry I've been kind of laxing on my channel. I've been doing the inner work, and this will explain what I've been doing. I'm sharing a video with you from Richard Casaro, which was shared with me. Well, Richard was shared with me via Rodney. And thank you, Rodney. Thank you, Rodney. Thank you all who have been part of my journey and allowing me to flourish in my findings and helping me along my way. I appreciate every one of you.
One of the most mysterious secret societies on the Yale University campus in New Haven, Connecticut, is the Society of Book and Snake. Founded in 1863, it's the fourth oldest secret society at Yale. The Society of Book and Snake uses an interesting set of esoteric symbols to convey hidden meanings that only the initiated can properly understand. I'm Rich Casaro, and in the next few minutes, we'll look briefly at how Book and Snake's art and architecture encodes the very secrets this collegiate society was founded to protect.
The serpents everywhere.
Conspiracy theorists insist that secret societies are made up of elite, wealthy families who rule the world and manipulate historical events for their benefit. But the symbolism encoded into their art and architecture indicates that these secret societies were originally founded for a more noble purpose, namely, to initiate new members into an ancient sacred science and to help those members achieve the so-called great work of spiritual transformation. By modeling their meeting places after ancient temples, collegiate secret societies were showing an affinity with and a connection to the ancient sacred science, a sacred science so important it's become the foundation of Western civilization. With its white marble exterior, the Book and Snake tomb was designed to resemble the ancient Greek temple of Nike, made entirely of white marble. This is one of many connections that links Book and Snake to ancient Greece, which was a center of philosophy, art, architecture, and sacred geometry, where the great work was practiced for thousands of years. In the ancient Greek mystery schools, the very basis of the great work was personified by the myth of the hero Theseus slaying the bull-headed Minotaur, a metaphor that describes the higher eternal self, the spiritual soul.
This is the same story that is in the cuneiform text of Sumer in the creation epic of Anu slaying the great bull of heaven.
Mastering the lower animal self, the material body. Thus, the aim of many collegiate societies was to initiate new members into the ancient sacred science teaching and to help facilitate their practicing the great work. The perfectly cut, smooth, white marble ashlars that constitute the Book and Snake tomb do more than symbolically convey this spiritual transformation. They magically charge the temple, consecrating it with the same current of metaphysical energy that arises within it from initiates practicing the great work. Containing metaphysical energy within a confined space creates a concentration of power and intention, which helps to awaken some of the sublime energies within the body that stimulate transformation. Spiritual ascension is the aim, and this aim is symbolized and achieved in part by the upward thrust of the 4 ionic columns that grace the main entrance.
That's the same as the Jed pillar. When truth of divinity is added, it becomes the Jed, and you become a pyramid capped from above, which is a diamond.
Seasoned occultists use these columns as ascension vehicles, and in Freemasonry they're depicted as ladders, by which the initiated can transcend the material world, gain access to the heavenly spiritual realm, and attain nirvana. The 4 columns on the Book and Snake facade support a massive triangle-shaped pediment. Stylized sets of anthemion and palmette leaves decorate the capitals, forming an
And you see above it is a scroll.
Alternating pattern of balanced duality that was celebrated in ancient Greek art and architecture.
Right there you see the cosmic egg. You see the flowering plants, the lotus, and the continuation of affinity, infinity, and flowers above that. But you see the cosmic egg.
The Greek philosopher Heraclitus said that everything in the cosmos is composed of balanced duality. This means everything in nature has an opposite, a double with which it exists in harmony. Everything has a solar right half representing light, male, fire, balanced by a lunar left half representing dark, female, water. To truly understand and know something, including ourselves, we need to recognize this doctrine of opposites. The alternating pattern of Anthemion and palmette leaves symbolize this uniting of opposites formula that forms the basis of the great work. Two giant bronze doors decorated with a twin pair of lion mask door knockers bar entry into the Book and Snake tomb.
The lion is symbolic of the light, the pineal light.
With each lion holding a circular ring in its mouth. These lions are an abbreviation of the twin lion statues that decorate the entrances to ancient temples worldwide, from the Hittites in ancient Anatolia to the Chavin culture in the ancient Andes, from the ancient Hindus in India to the ancient Egyptians in Africa. In China, the guardian lions were called fu dogs, and they symbolize the pairs of opposites, yin and yang. As the king of beasts, the lion is both great and terrible. With its golden coat and radiant mane, the lion is the personification.
Right there is the personification of the light. The light itself that you see upon the divine union, according to Phil.
Of the sun, symbolizing bravery, nobility, strength, and valor. And yet the lion is a shade-loving, mainly nocturnal hunter, cruel in its ability to kill and devour its prey. In short, the lion symbolizes the very balanced duality that every Book and Snake initiate presumes.
Wow, this is awesome. Now you see this, crazy. But the lion is what the light looks like as well. The light looks like a cylindrical cloud with a bunch of beams coming out of it, like whiskers from a lion.
Strives to achieve. This balanced duality is expressed in part by the imagery visible on the imposing wrought iron fence that surrounds the property, decorated with 18 massive caduceus posts. The caduceus is one of the world's most powerful occult symbols. It's also one of the most enigmatic. For centuries, operative Freemasons encoded the caduceus into the art, architecture, and symbolism of the churches, castles, and cathedrals they designed and built. Primarily, the caduceus relates the occult anatomy of man, a wisdom that surprisingly few modern students of the occult recognize. The caduceus also conveys the teachings of Kundalini Yoga, an ancient Hindu system of meditation directed toward awakening our third eye, a sixth sense organ hidden in the human forehead. A third eye that, when activated, endows us with the ability to see our...
The third eye is the pineal gland, which is in the center of our brain, which is surrounded by 12 cranial nerves that mimic or produce the zodiac above. Like the Last Supper painting, where there's 12 apostles and Jesus in the center as the pineal gland.
Inner, eternal nature. The twin serpents symbolize the pairs of opposites, and the vertical pole in the center symbolizes their balance or unification. In my work, I've shown how a pine cone symbol, signifying the pineal gland, often appears atop the caduceus, symbolizing our third eye. Here at the Book and Snake tomb, the caduceus pole is actually a flaming torch. Exoterically, the torch symbolizes light and life, and by extension, immortality and enlightenment. Esoterically, the torch symbolizes the inner soul, the centered eternal being beneath the changing world of duality. Fire is one of the 4 classical elements of ancient Greece, and some Greek philosophers considered it the first and most fundamental, the source of all existence. Heraclitus regarded the soul as being a mixture of fire and water, with fire being the higher noble part and water the lower ignoble part. He believed the goal of human existence is to rid oneself of water and become pure fire. In doing so, one becomes an Olympian, a god holding the Olympic torch of triumph. The Statue of Liberty holds a torch upward, conveying the life and freedom of an Olympian, and a massive caduceus appears on Rockefeller Center in New York City, built in the early 20th century, showing a torch centered between symmetrically balanced male-female opposites. On the reverse side of the American dime, we see the torch of illumination flanked by a symmetrically balanced set of branches, an oak branch on one side and an olive branch on the other. At the Book and Snake tomb, this same balance of opposites around a torch in the center theme is conveyed by the caduceus posts, and it's echoed in the massive triangle pediment atop the building. Like the caduceus, the triangle is a 3-in-1 symbol, showing twin opposing forces, symbolized by the twin lower points of the triangle, unified by the apex into a single whole. As the alchemical symbol for fire is an upward-pointing triangle, we may infer that the triangle pediment here symbolizes the soul, or better, the discovery of the soul via the balance of opposites, which is the ultimate end of the great work. For thousands of years, the triangle has symbolized a human being who's found his or her soul within or divinity within. This is the deeper meaning behind the massive triangle pediments atop many ancient Greek temples. And this meaning is echoed in the triangle pediments atop U.S. government buildings like the Supreme Court building in Washington, D.C. The deity in the center symbolizes the divine nature within us. Flanking this inner deity are sets of symmetrically balanced opposites, all mirror images of each other. The greatest opposites are at the extreme, with the slow tortoise on one side and the speedy rabbit on the other. All converge toward the middle, the triangle's apex, urging us to transcend the duality or polarity of earthly life and find our center or soul within. A similar meaning is conveyed by Book and Snake's Ouroboros serpent on the Society's regalia. The eternally circling serpent is shown consuming itself. This is a symbol of the divinity within us that feeds on the very bodies it uses to manifest itself on the material plane. It's the same circular symbolism depicted by the rings in the mouths of the lions. With no beginning and no end, the circle symbolizes eternity, and by extension, our eternal and divine.
Right here in this symbol also is the squaring of the circle, because the square represents the finite boundary in which we find ourselves, with infinity within it. Squaring of the circle can also be looked at as an unachievable task, meaning that you cannot square the circle because it is incalculable. So that therefore is telling us that there is a unknown factor, or unseen factor, but may I correct myself, unseen. So it's telling you that with the outside, the ka, there is also the ba, the inside.
Godlike nature. The book on which the Ouroboros rests is also symbolic, and we often see it in Masonic art and architecture. The left side of the book signifies the past, the right side, the future. The centered spine of the book, like the human spine, balances the twin sides, thus shifting focus towards the center. We see this same symbolism in the ancient Spanish city of Alcalá de Henares, home to the Complutense University of Madrid, one of the world's oldest universities. An open book shows the words pasado, or yesterday, on one page, and futuro, or future, on the other page, while the book's spine or center, like the human spine, represents the center or eternal now. When decoded properly, the art and architecture of the Book and Snake tomb indicates that the order's founding purpose was to initiate new members into the so-called great work of spiritual transformation. Whether or not the spirit of this founding purpose is still honored is unknown, but one thing is certain. When conspiracy theorists don't address the noble origins of secret societies, their research becomes a tool of suppression and misinformation.
Thank you, Rich. There's his books. You can find those online. And I want to point out this symbol in the middle of the three pictographs on the bottom of his missing link book. That is also the symbol for Pluto. Remember that. This is a depiction of the Kabbalic tree of life. We have wisdom, Shakma, Shakma, Bina, and Kether, which is wisdom, understanding, and the crown. At this point, you may be confused. You may be thinking to yourself, huh? And here in the rebus, what's between the heads of rebus is a symbol for Mercury, symbolizing Thoth, the consciousness, the Christ consciousness. Pyramids depicted right there. Tetrahedron. Dragon is several meanings, which I won't get into here, but notice they're holding in the right hand a compass and in the left hand a square. From right to left. See the depiction next to the Capricornus and next to the Greek cross? That's the zodiac, same as the top of our heads, with the cranial nerves and the pineal gland in the middle. I just want to point this out. These are in Chaco Canyon, I believe. Here's another depiction of the conquering of the bowl of heaven. And I'll end this with this one. This one is the Godhead, the recreation of the light. Thoth is depicted as the 6 baboons. That's our consciousness. Females are exact replications of each other because they're equilibrium in the brain. The Ankh with the arms is Pluto, the Kether. Atop the Jed pillar, which is the 4 elements of earth, added to it the severity of truth, which makes diamond, which means that the straight up and down erect truth, holding up creation, holding up the spark, which is the red sphere. The arch at the top is the top of our head, also personifies the hero's journey, or the sun's trail through the sky, the morning, noon, and night. They're kneeling on eyebrows and eyelids with eyelashes. They could be considered pedestals too, but you know, that's what makes it look like a human head, because we are the recreators of the light. I'll have the link for Richard Casaro's video in the description. Thank you.